In this video, we're going to look at mobile usability. So most of the things that we learned about web usability for desktop websites will apply here as well. But there are some key differences or a few things that we need to note. A lot of this material will be taken from the book by Nielsen and Boudil 2013 on mobile usability. And they have done a study in their book of over 150 users and a range of mobile websites, and they have come up with a range of suggestions and recommendations for mobile web usability. So let's start with a few thoughts. The first is that separate experiences is best. In other words, the desktop experience should be a different experience or a complementary experience compared to the mobile experience, right? So on a desktop website, you allow users to do particular tasks. On a mobile website, you also allow users to do particular tasks. And some tasks could be the same as what you would expect to be able to do through the desktop website. So you may have a different website for mobile devices and desktops. And even for different types of mobile devices, you might have different websites, tablets, smartphones, and so on. Even for smart watches, for instance, in the future. So devices, but still there should be clear links from the mobile to the full desktop website. As we see in many mobile websites, they have links to the full desktop website. Here's an example with Facebook, the desktop version on the right and the mobile version on the left. So you can see that the mobile version allows the user to do less, but the key things are still doable on the mobile version compared to the desktop version. Here's the realestate.com, and you can see that the mobile version has a simpler interface, allows the user to do less. So it's only a subset of the functionalities available compared to the desktop version. But you can observe that there will be some features that are only available on the mobile version. For instance, searching by distance. You want to look for all properties within a certain distance from where you are. And on the mobile device with a GPS, that's possible. But on the desktop device, which may not have a GPS receiver, it may not be possible to do that. Another example is carsales.com.au. You can see that on the right hand side, there are a lot more advertisements, there are a lot more functionalities, there are a lot more things you can do through the website compared to the mobile website. What you want to do is to be able to do the key things through the mobile version of the website. You don't want or you don't need to be able to do everything. And features which are not core available on the desktop, you could cut it from the mobile use case. So you could cut content to reduce the word count and link to secondary pages, right? So you don't have so much space for content anyway, so you could cut the content, but you do have links to more content if the user so chooses to view the additional content. You want to enlarge the UI elements, right? Just in case there's a fat finger problem. So in general, on the mobile device, you want the fonts to be bigger, you want the buttons to be bigger, otherwise it's hard to press. And what to cut is a design challenge and certainly depends on the domain and the application involved. And you can cut, but you could always try and link to more. So every screen or every page would be smaller on a mobile device, but certainly you can have more pages. So some differences from the desktop in terms of the content. Again, the content should be different, should be shorter and simpler, so that it's easily viewable, easily scannable on a mobile website. Small images could be cropped and zoomed, and less upfront but linked to more. Progressive disclosure, right, for the mobile version. And of course, consider your website where one finger interaction could be the main form of interaction. right? So can one easily browse your website with just one finger. And you also want to reduce the feature set, as we mentioned earlier. More thoughts. You want to be able to keep the hierarchy, and this is still a problem for the mobile device because you may have many different small pages if you like. You might have a mobile website for your business, or you might have a native code website. So for instance, you might have an Android app instead of a mobile website, or you might have an iPhone app for your business instead of the mobile website. Well, there are pros and cons. With the mobile website, it's certainly portable across different types of devices. Whereas with native code, it involves higher cost of development. Right? You need an iPhone version, you need an Android version, and so on. But you might be able to exploit some native code features if you use the native app approach. Problems remain, right? Whether you use the native code on a mobile website, you still have small screens. You need to consider typing or reduction of typing required to interact with your website. You need to consider download delays because the mobile bandwidth is usually less than the desktop bandwidth, or misdesign. So, for instance, many mobile websites require one to register upfront before seeing any content. That could actually discourage the user from coming back or from using the website. iPad, well, it's easy to see, it's harder to touch, right? Because it's a larger screen. You got to use two hands, and then you might want to have bigger touchables as well. There could be accidental touches could happen on the iPad, so there's something to consider. Okay, a few final thoughts. The web is going to be multi-device. So when you think of a website, you don't just think of a website for the desktop, but you think of a website or different versions of it for all these different form factors. But in this subject, we will just consider developing website for the desktop and for a mobile device like a smartphone, for instance, or a 7-inch or 6-inch tablet. But across all these different versions of websites, across different form factors, we want to have similar look and feel. We want to preserve feature and visual continuity, right? As you move across different websites, you want to use the same color schemes, you want to have a similar look and feel across all these different form factors.